Hi everyone, and welcome to this video on managing Cisco MAC address tables. In this video, we will be discussing everything you need to know about managing Cisco MAC address tables on Cisco switches. Understanding MAC address tables. Firstly, let's start with understanding what MAC address tables are. MAC address table is a table that a switch uses to keep track of the MAC addresses of devices that are connected to it. It maps the MAC addresses to the switch ports, allowing the switch to forward frames to the correct destination. Each switch has its own MAC address table. The table is populated as devices are connected to the switch. There are different methods that switches use to populate the MAC address table, including static entries and dynamic entries. Static entries are added manually to the MAC address table by a network administrator. Dynamic entries are added automatically by the switch as devices connect and disconnect from the network. Verifying the MAC address table. There are several ways to verify the MAC address table entries, and in this video, we will be discussing the most common methods. Method 1. Using the show MAC address table command. The show MAC address table command displays the content of the switch's MAC address table. This command provides a summary of all MAC address learned by the switch, including their associated VLANs, MAC addresses, and port number. For example, to view the MAC address table on a Cisco switch, enter the following command: show MAC address table. This will display the entire MAC address table and show you which MAC addresses are currently learned by the switch. Method 2. Using the show MAC address table command. If you want to view the details of a specific MAC address, you can use the show MAC address table address command. This command provides detailed information about a specific address, including its associated VLAN, MAC address, and port number. For example, to view the details of a specific MAC address, enter the following command: show MAC address table address, and in the address you would put the MAC address. Method 3. Using the show MAC address table interface command. If you want to view the MAC address table entries associated to a specific interface, you can use the show MAC address table interface command. This command displays all the MAC addresses learned on a specific interface. For example, to view the MAC address table entries associated with the interface gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1, enter the following command: show MAC address table interface gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1. Method 4. Using the show MAC address table dynamic command. The show MAC address table dynamic command displays all dynamic entries in the MAC address table. This command provides a summary of all the dynamic MAC addresses learned by the switch, including their associated VLAN, MAC addresses, and port numbers. For example, to view all dynamic entries on the MAC address table, enter in the following command: show MAC address table dynamic. Managing MAC address tables. Now that we understand what MAC address tables are, let's discuss how we can manage them. There are several methods that we can use to manage the MAC address table, including clearing the table, viewing the table, and configuring the table. The first method is clearing the MAC address table. This is useful when we want to remove all the dynamic entries in the table. We can do this by entering the following command: clear MAC address table dynamic. The next method is viewing the MAC address table. This is useful when we want to see the MAC addresses of devices that are connected to the switch. You can view the MAC address table by using the following command: show MAC address table. This command will display the MAC addresses and associated ports of devices that are connected to the switch. You can also use the following command to see the MAC addresses learned on a specific interface: show MAC address table interface. That's where you put the interface's name. Finally, we can configure the MAC address table. This is useful when you want to add or remove static entries from the table. You can add a static entry to the table by using the following command: MAC address table static, and then the MAC address, VLAN, VLAN ID, interface, and then the interface name. We can remove a static entry from the table by using the following command: no MAC address table static, and then the MAC address, VLAN, the VLAN ID, interface, and the interface name. Best practices for managing MAC address tables. Now that we know how to manage and verify MAC address tables, let's discuss some of the best practices for managing them. Limit the number of MAC addresses allowed per port. One effective way to limit the MAC address table is to limit the number of MAC addresses that are allowed per port. This can be done by configuring port security on the switch. With port security, you can limit the number of MAC addresses that are allowed on a port, and the switch will drop packets with MAC addresses that exceed the limit. Disable unused ports. Any unused ports on the switch should be disabled. This will prevent any unauthorized devices from being connected to the network and reduce the number of MAC addresses that are learned by the switch. Use DHCP snooping. DHCP snooping is a security feature that can help limit the MAC address table by preventing rogue DHCP servers from issuing IP addresses on the network. DHCP snooping can also be used to build a binding database that maps the MAC addresses of hosts to the IP address they are assigned by the DHCP. Implement VLANs. VLANs can be used to segment the network and limit the size of the MAC address table. By creating smaller broadcast domains, you can reduce the number of MAC addresses that are learned by each switch. Manage MAC address aging. You can configure the switch to automatically remove MAC addresses from the table after a certain period of time. This helps to prevent stale MAC addresses from clogging up the table and taking up valuable memory. Monitor the MAC address table. It's important to monitor the MAC address table regularly to ensure that it doesn't become overloaded. You can use show commands such as show MAC address-table and show MAC address-table count to view the contents of the table and determine if it needs to be limited further. Well, that's all for this video on managing Cisco MAC address tables. We hope that you found this video informative and helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video and come back for more.